Welcome,
Hello.
everyone. Hello, Bharti uncle.
Hi. So
How
it's
have you been, uncle?
I'm doing good. It's wonderful to see you again.
It's the same for me as well.
The
Thank
technology
you,
has
everybody
made
who's.
things so easy, huh?
Yes, it is. It is, and see, we can make such a difference through technology.
Of course. Yeah, and it keeps on changing. That's the wonderful thing. From Snapchat to Skype
True.
to FaceTime. And when I
True. I
come
think
here,
it gives us the opportunity to keep learning, right?
yeah, true.
And you've learned so quickly. I mean,
It's fun to know new things.
true. I can understand that. Thank you everyone for joining the Instagram live today, where we talk about vitiligo, leukoderma, safed kush, or fulberry. These are all the names of the condition. We will talk about the condition in children, myths and facts about the condition, and we will also be taking up queries that you might send us through the chat. It's World Vitiligo Day today. The first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, had ranked vitiligo as one of the three major medical problems of India at that time, with malaria and leprosy being the other two. And the condition has a variety of dimensions. And it was Dr. Rakesh Bharti's idea to have a live session today so that we could create more awareness about the condition. So today's initiative has been taken by Dr. Rakesh Bharti, who is one of the leading dermatologists in North India. Dr. Bharti has a lot of experience with treating vitiligo as well as various other skin conditions. The idea behind the live today is to create awareness about leukoderma or vitiligo, as it is commonly called in India. So welcome, uncle.
Thank you, Chetna. It's nice
The
that you
pleasure is
took up
all
the
mine.
challenge and
For those of you who've chosen to spend your evening with us, letting you know that your time is valuable, do send us your questions via chat so that Dr. Rakesh Bharti can answer them during the course of the live session. And if your questions demand any kind of privacy, you can directly message those questions to him and he will assist you further.
sure.
Anyone with skin conditions knows that this is a very sensitive subject. So through this live session, we want to let you all know that you are not alone and help is available just round the corner. When I was very little, I asked a school friend of mine about the white patches that she had on her neck. And she told me beautifully that God chooses its strongest children and then gives them vitiligo. So that's vitiligo for you. Uncle, the first question that I have for you is, what is vitiligo? Please explain it to us in simple words so that a layman can also understand.
Well, Chetna, I think you have given a very good start to the whole show. What is
Thank you.
vitiligo is a second thing. To me, vitiligo is more of issue in the mind than on the body. As you rightly pointed out, that you had a classmate whom you asked that this spot, right? Now, this is a very common thing people suffer. Vitiligo is just nothing. There are some cells in our bodies which are called melanocytes. And these melanocytes give color to us, not only to our skin, the color of your eyes, like what you see brown or blue or black, or even in your eardrums, there are melanocytes. There are melanocytes everywhere, and they make the difference. Those who have less melanocytes or more melanocytes at places or totally, that's how the complexion comes. And I personally feel over the years, maybe because of the environments, the genetic changes occurred, and some races who were more exposed to sunlight were producing more melanocytes so that they can be prevented from damages like skin cancers. And the other thing is, many a times, we confuse things. These melanocytes, sometimes at birth, for whatever reasons, the factory itself is closed, where the cells are produced. And we call these patients as albinos. If you have seen an albino who are right from birth totally white, and their hairs are brownish, and they have a nystagmus in the eye, means, their eyes are doing like this. And they at times are deaf also, because I said the melanocytes. So melanocytes are simple cells in the body, in the skin also, which give color. And when there is a deficiency at patches, we call it vitiligo. And why vitiligo is, such a nuisance? As you rightly said, that Pandit Nehru in the beginning said this is one of the main malices. Now, when a prime minister of a country also lays stress on it, then people think that it must be something very, very important.
Yes.
Whereas the matter of fact is, this is nothing. I just tell children who come to me that like a flower, I have kept a flower here. Now, if you see this flower, there are various colors. It is not throughout pink or red or white or what. Similarly, in our skin, it cannot be throughout the same. Nothing can be same all over. Your neck color may be different than your belly and then your covered areas. Similarly, so some patches when they occur. Now, why are we so scared of vitiligo? Fulveri. Some people call it Safed Kusht, as you rightly pointed out in the beginning. Because it resembled a disease called Kusht Rog. In Charak Samhita, which is the oldest granth for science as far as Indians are concerned, there is a description of Kusht Rog. Kusht Rog, you understand? Leprosy. जिसमें हाथ पैर टेढ़े हो जाते हैं, मुंह चेहरा विकृत हो जाता है, लेकिन वो भी नहीं होता अब. वो तब तक होता था जब तक उसका कारण नहीं मालूम था. वो एक बैक्टीरियल डिजीज से होता था. लेकिन क्योंकि वो ऐसा कुछ हो जाता था और लोग डरते थे और वो इन्फेक्शियस डिजीज थी, और चरक संहिता में ये मेंशन कर दिया गया कि ये माइनर कुष्ठ रोग है. कुष्ठ रोग की दो टाइप्स हैं, माइनर एंड मेजर. तो लोग डरने लगे, कहीं उनके चेहरा ना खराब हो जाए, कहीं सोसाइटी उनको अलग ना कर दे. और ये आज से नहीं, कितनी पीढ़ियों से चलती आ रही है बात. इसलिए लोग डरते हैं फुलबेरी से. और एक ऐसा स्टिग्मा, एक ऐसा कलंक इसकी बीमारी के साथ लग गया है कि लोग सोचते हैं अगर लड़की पैदा हो जाए, उसके छोटा सा भी निशान, तो वो सोचेंगे इसकी शादी नहीं होगी. So vitiligo to my mind is more of a mind disease than a physical disease. Of course, it is only a deficiency of cells called melanocytes at places. जैसे फूलों में अलग अलग रंग हैं, हमारी स्किन में अलग अलग रंग हैं, कहीं ज्यादा कहीं कम. And you mentioned Prime Minister Nehru, so I can tell you now, 1% of the population suffers from vitiligo. You said in the beginning, you are not alone. Yes, you are not alone. If you see 100 people, you find 1% suffering from, or having, not, I should not say suffering. Suffering is in the mind of the person, of the society, of the family. Because as you rightly pointed out, the peer pressure. आपके अगर सफेद निशान है तो बस में जाते में, स्कूल में, कॉलेज में, हर आदमी आपको सलाह देगा, पूछेगा ये क्या होता है. तो आपको लगता है मेरे में क्या ऐसा हो रहा है भाई? Why? You know, your friend was a strong girl, but all are not. See, I have seen over the years, I've seen a number of patients who, were really, they and their families. मेरे पास तो जब कोई पेशेंट आता है तो मैं कुछ और तरह डील करता हूँ. We talk about that, but this is what vitiligo is. Nothing.
I wanted to ask you about the risk factors. What are the triggering factors? ये होता क्यों है? कुछ ऐसे factors हैं?
इसके बारे में बहुत सारी थ्योरीज हैं. कुछ क्लियर है साइंटिस्ट को, कुछ नहीं है. बेसिक बात यही है कि मेलानोसाइट कम हो जाते हैं. आमतौर पे यह माना गया है कि हमारी बॉडी में जो इम्यून सिस्टम है, जो बीमारी से लड़ने की, हमारी बॉडी में डिफरेंट सिस्टम्स हैं. लाइक नर्वस सिस्टम है, गैस्ट्रोइंटेस्टाइनल है, हमारे पेट पाचन शक्ति का, सोचने का है, सांस लेने का है, दिल धड़कने का है, सर्कुलेशन, ऐसे एक इम्यून सिस्टम. आजकल तो हम बहुत बात करते हैं ना कोरोना में, तो इम्यून सिस्टम में कभी कभी क्या होता है, मैं लेमन टर्म में अगर समझाऊं चेतना, तो मान लो आपकी एक डिफेंस फोर्सेस है, आर्मी है, वहां पे बगावत हो गई फॉर वॉट एवर रीजन, वी कॉल इट ऑटो इम्यून डिजीजेस. नाउ हाउ इट इज ट्रिगर्ड nobody knows it, but at times the genes do play a part at times, but not in all. Not that if somebody has a vitiligo in family, everybody will have it, right? So, and genetics itself is a very, very difficult subject to understand. That who will have what? You being, florist, or should say interested in gardens, can understand कि जब हम हाइब्रिड क्रिएट करने की कोशिश करते हैं, अगर हम रेड फ्लावर्स ले लें और व्हाइट ले लें, तो जरूरी नहीं कि सभी पिंक आएंगे.
They vary, yes.
Similarly, genetics, everybody will not suffer, but genes do play a part. It is an autoimmune disease, to give you a clear-cut answer. And no dietary role. किसी चीज की कमी से नहीं होता. आमतौर पे लोगों के मन में सवाल होता है कि हमने ये कम नहीं खाया होगा, या नहीं खाया होगा, या ज्यादा खा लिया होगा. तो ऐसा नहीं.
अंकल, कुछ ऐसा भी होता है कि कुछ बॉडी पार्ट्स ऐसे हैं which are more prone to these patches?
Not really.
Not really.
They can be on the covered parts also. They can be, people get bothered when they are on the exposed parts of the body. But no part is like, nah.
Or are there any initial signs or symptoms? I mean, does this happen in stages? Is it a progressive condition? या कुछ लोगों में वो रुक जाती है, या कुछ लोगों में वो वर्सन होती है. How is the journey with vitiligo?
Very, very good question. When I said कुष्ठ रोग, तो पहली बात तो समझने वाली ये है कि कोई भी निशान जो चमड़ी के रंग से अलग है, चाहे वो सफेद है या थोड़ा फीका है, अगर उसमें सेंसेशंस नहीं है, if you cannot feel in that particular patch pain, touch, जो औरतें रोटी बनाती हैं, अगर रोटी बनाते में उनका हाथ जल जाता है और उन्हें पता नहीं चलता, हाथ तो सबका जलता है, तो हम सोचते हैं कुष्ठ रोग के बारे में. कोई भी सफेद निशान जिसमें सेंसेशन ना हो, वो कुष्ठ रोग है, और उसका भी इलाज हो जाता है. और आजकल तो सिर्फ 1 साल दवाई खानी पड़ती है, एंड फॉर एवर इट गोज. भूल जाओ कुष्ठ रोग को. तो इसमें एक तो कोई सेंसेशन का लॉस नहीं होगा, एक निशान होगा जो चमड़ी के रंग से अलग होगा. Now, why I'm laying stress on that? Because if we go to the different parts of India, like north and south are different colors of skin, right?
Yes.
Not that it doesn't occur in the south. It does occur. So that's why I'm laying stress on the thing that if any part, any patch of different color, usually white, is there, and there is no loss of sensation, it can be vitiligo. And there is nothing like stages that it occurs like this. But there are types. One type is segmental vitiligo. What happens is that in a particular body segment only there is a patch. जैसे if you have heard herpes zoster, वो एक जगह होती है, ऐसे vitiligo होता है. Similarly, कुछ लोगों में congenital vitiligo होता है, जन्म के टाइम पे पैच होता है. ठीक है, ये बहुत रेयर है, लेकिन आमतौर पे ये कभी भी शुरू हो सकता है, किसी भी एज में. कभी कभी ऑटोइम्यून डिजीज, जैसे मैंने कहा था, दूसरी ऑटोइम्यून डिजीज स्पेशली थायराइड इसके साथ एसोसिएटेड होती है, राइट? हाँ. और ये जो पैच है, कभी कभी कई लोगों में ऐसा होता है कि एक पैच बन गया और वो सारी उम्र वैसे ही पड़ा रहता है, वो ना बढ़ता है ना कम होता है, इसको कोई प्रोटेक्ट नहीं करता. And progressive, yes, the doctor can always know from the borders of the patch कि ये आगे बढ़ने वाली बीमारी है कि नहीं है. पर आमतौर पे जब हाथों पे हो, दोनों साइड पे हो, तो कभी कभी चांस होता है कि जरा मुश्किल से उसका इलाज तो हो जाता है.
तो इसका मतलब हर किसी की बॉडी अलग तरह से जो है इसके साथ डील करती है.
If I can make things simple, somebody gets fever, he gets all right without any medicine in 7 days. The other person takes 3 days. The other person takes 15 days. Similarly, the body depends on the immune system of the person. So since immune system is affected, so the response to treatment also is different.
Uncle, I know a child who lost her father not in a very pleasant circumstances. And the child also developed vitiligo after that. Do you think stress causes vitiligo, or it was already there, it started showing up? Is that a factor? या किसी की लाइफ में अगर ट्रॉमा के थ्रू वो गुजर रहे हैं तो
To be
vitiligo can appear? ये theory है या is that a fact?
to be honest, Chetna, the stress usually doesn't cause, but it can help in not getting it treated. You know, if you are too much stressed, there is a possibility that no amount of treatment, no expertise will be able to help you out of this. And that happens. You know, automatically the stress comes. People cannot avoid whatever counseling we do. I especially lay a lot of stress these days on counseling of the person, of the family, because person alone doesn't matter. The family has to understand. You know what? Every time the mother keeps seeing at the child's patch that what's happening, and she's crying. Parent is crying, grandmother is crying. So child thinks, what is happening to me? Why? What the hell? What am I suffering from? He doesn't have pain. He doesn't have anything on the patch. So stress will not, let it go. Number one, will not cause it usually. But maybe sometimes in some patients, as you said, it can be triggered. But definitely one should be away from the stress of the disease also. Forget the other stresses. So stress has an important role, and mind plays a very important role in the healing of any disease, and vitiligo especially.
Okay, thank you for clarifying on that, Uncle. And let's talk about vitiligo in children. How is it different, and what are the earliest signs that a caregiver or a parent can identify and then rush to a doctor for treatment? How do you diagnose it?
Very good. Number one, children. Usually the beautiful thing is they can have patches on their face or exposed areas, and it goes very quick. I mean, much less of treatment. Many times, hardly any treatment and some local medications, and it can be treated. Because otherwise in adults we give immunosuppressants, we call it, जिससे immunity को दबा दिया जाए. बच्चों में उसकी जरूरत नहीं पड़ती, और खासकर जिन बच्चों के फेस पे हो जाता है बहुत आसानी से ठीक होता है. It's so easy to treat. Number one. Now, when should parent consult a doctor? Because the society doesn't let you live. You know, once somebody, grandmother, mother, father, grandfather, friends, anybody sees a patch, he or she pushes you. My advice to everyone is that please and please go to a specialist. Do not go by hearsay. I'm not saying come to me. I'm saying go to a specialist. And believe you me, Chetna, the skin specialist can definitely, if not cure, treat many of the things and give a lot of comfort to these patients. And there are many, many modalities today available to treat, and the patches do disappear. People have always a fear that will they disappear? Will the progress be stopped? Yes, timely action. So whenever you see a patch, immediately rush to the doctor. Of course, if there are no sensations, then it is all the more reason to go. But even if the sensations are there, must see the specialist quickly, whatever method you believe in. And the second advice I always give is don't waver. Because, you know, once somebody has a patch here, there will be thousands of people everywhere, in school, in bus, in rail, on where a mandir, gurdwara. People will be telling you, go to this place, go to that place, do this, do that. Do not do that. Listen to everyone. Use your own mind and stick to one person.
Okay. And is positive family history a sure shot factor? मतलब अगर parents को है या दोनों में से एक parent है तो बच्चे को होगा ही होगा, या there is always this
may I ask you a question, Chetna? May I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
What is your grandfather's name?
He's Narayan Das Arora.
What is his grandfather's name?
I have no idea.
Please stop. So we really do not know. I mean,
yes,
it's ridiculous to say कि हमारी family में किसी को नहीं है. Nobody in the family is suffering. What? How many we know? We don't even know the names, right? Genes do play a part, but that does not mean that every member of the family or every generation will suffer. many generations can skip, right? So this is, and it is immaterial as far as treatment is concerned. You asked me one more question I forgot to reply, is how it is diagnosed. Now,
Yes.
this is one disease which depends on diagnosis, on the clinical experience of a doctor. That's it. Biopsy is hardly ever required. There are very few, many people say, no, I want a proof. Then we say, okay, come, we do a biopsy, skin biopsy, and give you a proof. No blood test can detect vitiligo. So there are no tests. It is the experience of the doctor which can immediately tell. And for that reason, I always say, आपकी नानी भी ये बता सकती है कि क्या हुआ है, डॉक्टर की जरूरत नहीं. But once you know it, तो उसको ट्रीट कैसे करना है वो आपको स्पेशलिस्ट बताएगा, वो डॉक्टर बताएगा.
अंकल, एक और चीज आप क्लैरिफाई करें फॉर अ लेमैन, व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन क्योर एंड ट्रीटमेंट? और विटिलाइगो के केस में दोनों में से कौन सी चीज है, ट्रीटमेंट है या क्योर है?
That's a lovely question. Yes, there is a cure. We cure it. Because if it is like this, if the rebellion occurs in one unit of the armed forces, you can nip it, finish it off, and the armed forces can be back to normal, right?
Yes.
But if the mutiny is large, then there may be a problem. So it can be cured. There's nothing. There small little patches can be treated, and there are various ways of treating it. I do not know about Ayurvedic and homeopathy, but what we do in allopathy is we give Soralens, we give ultraviolet lights, either those who cannot afford from sunlight, otherwise narrowband UV lamps are there, or now examined laser, a particular type of a laser or a light is available which can treat it, and even surgery can be done. Now, what we do in surgery, earlier days we'll take the whole skin patch out and bring a new patch. No, nowadays we grow melanocytes outside, your own melanocytes, and we culture them and transfer them to those patches. So much advancement has occurred in treatment of vitiligo. Medicines, yes, lasers, ultraviolet lights, surgery, so many things can be done, and it can be cured. Now, treatment, of course, the whole journey to reach that destination is long and can be cumbersome, and patient gets tired, the families get tired, and that is why they switch from one doctor to other doctor. They do doctor shopping, they do petty shopping. Huh? They should not
And that
do that.
ends up being, yes.
And otherwise also, Chetna, you know, the healing occurs with faith. And if nothing else, we can give a lot of comfort. I tell you, there is a girl called Winnie Harlow. She is a second best model in Canada.
Yes.
Now, I usually show that picture to my patients that, look, if somebody can be a model, if 10% of Indian parliamentarians can have vitiligo on exposed areas, you know, I can name the MPs. One of them came to our, this thing, Santosh Gangwar from Bareilly, has all over vitiligo, right? So if they can achieve anything in life, vitiligo is a disease which cannot stop you to achieve anything. And we can give a lot of comfort, if not treatment, right? I have a girl, you know, this Winnie Harlow, if you search on the Google, is sitting like this with white hands, you have posted on that. I have a girl who used to come to me and she clicked a photo in the same pose and sent me. Maybe I will post sometime later. But, you know, we can cure, we can treat, we can give comfort. That is what is in our hands.
That's a beautiful thought, Uncle. Here's a shout out to everyone who's listening to us. Please keep listening. And if you have your questions, kindly send those questions to us in the chat because Dr. Bharti will answer them during the course of this session. Uncle, क्या विटिलाइगो जो है छूने से फैलता है? Is it contagious or infectious? क्या वाइफ से हस्बैंड को फैल सकता है? ये एक बहुत कॉमन सी बात है, लोग ऐसे लोगों को छूने से भी डरते हैं.
Absolutely wonderful question you have asked. Many people are scared that if you touch, what will happen? What will happen to the other children in the family? If there is one child who has it, should parents eat in the same utensils? It doesn't occur like that at all. I told you in the beginning that Genes, of course, play a part, but very less. And it is an autoimmune disease. It is not infectious disease. किसी को छूने से करने से ये नहीं होता. You said husband and wife. You know, I have been peeping into the minds of many adults. I tell you one story, very interesting story. This boy used to come to me at the age of, say, 8. He had a small little patch, and parents were worried more than him. But he became so friendly with me, he will even discuss and come and tell me that what questions he was asked in physics paper or chemistry paper. You understand that? And
Yes.
then he went on to join an engineering college. Once he joined the engineering college, now you can imagine, and his journey of vitiligo is also continuing, his life journey is also continuing. And once he becomes an engineer, he has a solo aim that he will join a particular company, Motorola. He did not appear for any other interview on the campus except this. He got selected, but somehow Motorola went down. Now, this guy then thought that he should join armed forces. In armed forces, this is sometimes a handicap because this is a identification mark. And armed forces people may not accept you if you have vitiligo on the exposed parts.
Okay.
This I'm warning for those boys and girls who aspire to join army, that if you have on exposed parts, please get treated. So anyways, he had on hidden parts, so he got in the army, but being an engineer, he could not adjust. He wanted to leave. He left the army, joined ISRO, was involved in that Mars mission of India. And then this guy one day wrote me, phoned me and said, "Uncle, I want to commit suicide." I said, "What happened?" He said a girl and her parents came to see me, and they outrightly not only rejected me, they abused me. They said, "If you have this disease, why did you even try to, negotiate or whatever?" So I called him, I counseled him, and everything happened. Now, I want to finish up this story by telling you that hand holding is very important. I kept holding his hand from the age of 8 till he was marriageable. And then ultimately he found a girl. He married that girl. He is blessed with a beautiful daughter without any patch. Of course, he himself could not get rid of vitiligo. Now he's totally white. But doesn't matter. As you asked, treatment, cure what? I could not cure him. We could not. We offered him treatment on the way. But we gave him so much comfort that now he is living a normal life, family life, with a wife and a child. So that is what it is, this is what we can do. And it definitely affects the mind. And my request to, if some doctors are listening to this, my request to them is, please do not treat the child alone. Treat the whole family. Give them enough time. They should understand what is happening. I always tell the parents of such children that please, please, please do not discuss the disease. Do not get disgusted for the disease in the presence of the child. If you want to cry, cry in your bedroom, not in presence of the child.
Yes,
Otherwise,
because
you
it
don't
breaks
have to
their
cry.
spirit. True, that's right. In fact, you raised some really valid points here. Skin has erogenic functions for us, and skin lesions can have a negative impact on our sexual life. So does vitiligo have any linkages with the quality of a person's sexual life and lower self-esteem या शर्म आना, ये issues जो हैं, do you think a dermatologist should be aware of these effects of disfigurement and they should be assisting a patient by dealing with all these issues as well? Because it's not just the medicine, it's a lot of other things.
You're absolutely right. You talked about the sexual life in a married life. It does not affect at all, because you don't marry a person for whatever defects or whatever. You marry for certain other reasons. I'm going a little off track. I'm reminded
Please
of
go
a
ahead.
couple where the husband was suffering from a disease called HIV. And after a few years, I asked his wife, because I wanted to know, are they taking precautions or not? Wife was not HIV positive. So I said, do you indulge in sex? And she said, sex is not without clothes only. You know, what a beautiful thing a patient told me.
Yes, how beautiful is that?
And to be honest with you, since this is disease, we know how it is produced. So it cannot be transmitted through sex or by touching, either ways. No, it is the faith between the husband and the wife. You know, what happens is sometimes girls at young age come to me with vitiligo. And by the time they are marriageable age, they get married, they are left with a single patch here or there. Now, I always tell them, please tell your would-be husband or your fiancé that you had this. Because the Indian mentality is such that sometimes if it is discovered after marriage, then also there is a stigma. So, and I always tell that marriage is a beautiful building. You want to construct it, the foundation should be solid and it should be on truth. Do not hide your disease. So, otherwise, sexually, it has no effect. But it, as I said in the beginning, it can affect. Yes. If somebody develops a patch later on and the husband says no, then you can't help.
Yes.
Or
Exactly.
vice versa. Or vice versa. But
True.
vice versa is less common in India, you know, somehow. Although we talk of women empowerment and whatnot, but
Yes, we still have a long way to go when it comes
yes.
to it being true empowerment. Uncle, I was also thinking that does vitiligo have any kind of association with pregnancy outcomes or adverse pregnancy outcomes? And does it have ramifications for a lactating woman? Somebody who's breastfeeding, कोई breastfeed कर रहा है तो क्या उनका treatment course जो है वो different होता है?
See, there are few things which one should understand. As I said, it is an autoimmune disease. So, and some autoimmune diseases are also seen in conjunction, like thyroid. So, thyroid on its own can create some issues during the pregnancy, not vitiligo. Not vitiligo, number one. Number two, if you are under treatment and you become pregnant, it is
I think we just lost your connection, Uncle. Bharti Uncle, are you there? I think we'll have Dr. Bharti again soon with us. We were talking about vitiligo myths and facts. If you have any questions, do feel free to share those to us. And Dr. Bharti will answer them for you. Just send those questions in the chat.
so I'm back.
Uncle, you're back. Yes, you're back.
So where was I? Pregnancy.
Yes.
Pregnancy, the rule of thumb is that no medicine should be taken unless it is a life-threatening thing. You must ask your doctor, the gynecologist and the dermatologist, that whether you have to continue or not. But otherwise, these medicines cause no problems. But another thing you should understand is that if you want to, you know, go on a family way, you should tell your doctor, because he may be giving some medicines which should not be, which may be, you know, creating issues later on. As far as lactating is concerned, there is no contraindication at all, except if the doctor is giving you drugs like methotrexate, some people give immunosuppressants or steroids, then you must speak to your doctor. Otherwise, the disease will not be transmitted. The drugs can create issues.
Okay, thank you for clarifying on that aspect. When I was researching about this condition, I got to know that the prevalence rates are equal in both the genders, but vitiligo is reported more among females in India because of the social consequences that it has for women and girls, like how you said earlier. In fact, it can be very difficult for a young woman to find a match if she wants to marry, if she has this condition. So have you come across such patients personally?
Very good question. You know, you have hit the nail on the head. Why I say so? There is no difference, but you know, in India, we have a mentality. If a girl is born, we are always bothered. And if a girl is born with some disease, as in our mind, you know, disease or patch or whatever, then we are doubly worried. So, and then we rush to the doctor. So that is why probably it happens. I'm reminded when I joined my government service in way back in 1976, and I was posted in a village called Talwandi Chaudhuriya. What happened was I realized that veterinary surgeon was more important for them than me, because for them it was more important to keep the animal healthy than themselves. Now same thing happens in the families. You know, आपके घर में भी जब माँ रोटी बनाती है तो वो सबसे बाद में खाती है. क्यों? उसके लिए नहीं बचे तो नहीं खाती है. Why so? So, but reverse happens in vitiligo. The moment something is seen, because the only aim Indians think of, you know, parents is, boys हैं तो उनको पढ़ा के अपने पैरों पे खड़ा करना है. If it is a daughter, then she should be married. Now, as if marriage is the ultimate and nothing else is required. That is why, you know, they report quickly to the doctor, and that is why probably it looks. Now, coming to the other thing, I remember one girl who came to me. She had some white patches on her private parts. Now, these white patches look like vitiligo. This girl was in +1 or +2, and she was aspiring to be a doctor. She was very worried. She asked me, what is it? I saw it. Now, there are some conditions which resemble vitiligo. That is why it is important to go to a doctor. I did a biopsy on this girl, and it turned out that she had some other disease which was treatable, and we treated very well. The patches disappeared. It was not vitiligo. And then after that, sometime she came to me with a box of sweets, and I said, what happened? She said, I got selected in medical college, uncle, and now I'll be becoming a doctor. I go, okay, so what specialization would you like to do? And she tells me, I'll do dermatology. Why?
Wow.
Because it was such a pressure on my mind, my family's mind, and you dealt us so well that the disease is gone, vitiligo or no vitiligo. So such stories make you happy. And yes, you have asked the right question, females and males. We see a lot of patients. I remember a girl belonging to a very rich family in our own city. She has a small little patch on the buttock. And she's worried. Why? That she may not get married. I'm surprised how did she notice that, because in leprosy we see people miss the lesions there. So yes, the incidence is equal, but girls are brought earlier and more aggressively for this simple reason that parents want one and only one thing to achieve for their daughters is to marry them.
A happy married life. I completely understand that. In case you're listening to us and you have questions in your mind, please type those questions in the chat. And if your questions demand privacy, feel free to send those questions personally to Dr. Rakesh Bharti, and he will assist you further with them. Uncle, I also wanted to ask you about dietary linkages in vitiligo, because this is the common myth or the fact that you will clear for us. For instance, it is said, अगर fish खाई है तो milk मत पियो उसके बाद, या दही मत खाओ. लेकिन कुछ contrary ऐसी चीजें भी होती हैं कि there are times when we marinate fish in curd or coconut milk is added to the fish while cooking, especially because I am exposed to dishes from down south as well. So kindly clear this out. Is there a dietary linkage? Can people eat something right after getting diagnosed and it would help with the treatment?
20 years ago, or maybe 25 years ago, when I used to write a prescription, I used to say, no vitamin C. Nimbu, Santra, Malta, Amrut, nahi khana. But over the years now we realize there's nothing like this. There's no linkage. You asked a very valid question. Everybody asked this question. दही, हमने गलती से दूध पी लिया था मछली के साथ. Fish and milk, absolutely no correlation, no scientific basis. Nowadays, on my prescription, in vernacular, I write खट्टा मिठा चिट्टा, जो मर्जी खाओ. चाहे आप sweet, you may eat white things. You know, many people say don't eat white things. That includes milk. So to remove that myth, what I do is I tell that this particular tablet you take with milk, so that thing goes. दूध पीजिए आप, दही खाइए, मछली खाइए, जो भी खाना है खाइए. और विटामिन सी का भी अब कोई, पहले हम सोचते थे, we used to think that melanogenesis means the production of the melanocytes is inhibited by vitamin C. And that is why we used to say that please do not take these things. I'm telling my own prescriptions 25 years ago were saying that, but now we realize it has no role. So मीठा खाओ, सफेद खाओ, खट्टा खाओ, कुछ भी खाओ, कोई परहेज नहीं है, हेल्दी डाइट खाओ. और मैं मरीज को एक लाइन अगली ये कहता हूँ, गम मत खाओ. Don't take the stress of this. Now another thing I want to lay stress here is, in earlier days of my MD, you know, we were getting serum copper done of many patients, because अभी भी बहुत सारी जगह पे ये माना जाता है कि जिनको विटिलाइगो हो जाए वो कॉपर के वेसल में पानी रख रहे हैं रात को, overnight they keep water in that copper vessel and then drink in the morning, then maybe, you know, and some people believe that maybe copper deficiency can cause this. But this again has been proved wrong. You know, the copper mines are maximum in a place called Dietary in Rajasthan. And
the number of cases is high there.
So there is no correlation of copper, vitamin C, this, that, you know, these theories keep coming and going. As you must have seen in recent times, in Corona times, that many drugs came and many drugs went.
Yes.
So,
true.
Science is ever changing. The present science says there are no dietary restrictions, eat whatever. No deficiency causes this.
And eating healthy is common sense. मतलब वो तो आपको vitiligo, no vitiligo, balanced diet पता ही है.
You know, in geometry, we used to read that parallel lines don't meet, but then there is convergence. Now we may be on parallel lines, but on one point we are converging.
Yes.
आपको बहुत डर लगता है तो घर में उगाओ और वही खाओ भी. और
exactly. Very true. Oh, very true. Dr. Bharti, would you suggest any lifestyle changes for somebody who is very keen कि मेरा ये जो vitiligo का treatment है ये successful हो जाए? या for instance जैसे हमने बात की कि stress जो है वो हो सकता है trigger कर दे या treatment का असर ना होने दे. तो ऐसा क्या किया जाए life में that we should stay away from stress?
Few years ago, I saw a picture, beautiful picture. A girl got a tattoo on her arm, and it was written, "It's vitiligo." You know.
Oh wow.
I damn care attitude. You know, people won't stop asking you, "क्या हुआ है?" उसको बोलो मुझे vitiligo हुआ है. Strength आ जानी चाहिए. That is the lifestyle change I want in the people. That is the lifestyle change I want in the families, that they should be able to say, doesn't matter, so what? We will make the girl or the boy educated. He will be self-sufficient. Marriage or no marriage is no issue. For everyone, there is a match. Why do we start thinking at the age of 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, that what will happen after 20 years? What is this? So the lifestyle change required is strong mental ability. You increase the strength of your shock absorbers. Because once the things are visible on exposed areas, you are bound to be, you know, put to question. Body shaming is so common. Even if you don't have a patch, they'll say, "Badi moti ho gayi hai tu. Khana chhod diya hai kya?" I mean, what is your problem? But people don't stop. So you have to develop that mental strength for the individual and the family both. That is the lifestyle change I want. The other thing, since I said that thyroid sometimes, and thyroid people can become little overweight, so they should take care of that. And the other thing is that usually when such diseases, chronic diseases, why I say chronic, because it takes long time to be treated, they cause depression. And in depression, what occurs is that people eat more. So that should not happen. You should not be depressed. Do not start eating more. Don't forget to do regular exercise. Eat a balanced diet, goes without saying. Even for a normal health. And vitiligo is not
Exactly.
disease. The only thing is that whatever drugs you are taking may have side effects. To be in touch with your doctor regularly. Don't think that he will write the same medicine again. Why go? Because the medicines can have side effects, not the disease. So a lifestyle change, only thing, be in touch with your doctor. Don't let it ride on you. You ride the disease. That's it.
True. और मतलब सिर्फ marriage is not the only goal in your life. You
I
can have
know.
so many goals. And
We
I
have a
mean,
president.
just give a damn attitude, like how you said. I mean, it doesn't matter. If nobody likes you, it's all right. You like yourself. You love yourself.
See, our
That's
president can
very
be an
true.
unmarried person. Our prime minister can be an unmarried person. Then what is wrong?
True.
Vajpayee was never married. Abdul Kalam Azad was never married.
True, true. Until let's talk about the social stigma and the psychological issues that arise with vitiligo. I'm sure you've had interaction with patients when they tell you some very bitter things that they are told. Or I know that there is this misconception as well that people with vitiligo are abnormal या उनकी brain functioning जो है वो इतनी सही नहीं होगी, कुछ ना कुछ गड़बड़ है. In fact, in some societies, vitiligo is considered as a curse or a sin. It goes that far. So, please shed some light on all this and how do you deal with it?
My advice is two-pronged. One, for the doctors who are listening here, or the young dermatologists or general practitioners, that please give more time to these patients. You may not write a right prescription, but you must listen to them and you must tell them what it is and what is going to happen to them, to the families, and never think it is a one-time process. It is a continuous process. Every time a patient visits you, you must give extra time to these patients and their families. This is number one. This is for the doctors, including the dermatologists. Many of the dermatologists with a heavy OPD will write quickly a prescription, explain, and then send the patient, will not spend any time in telling that what it is. So this is number one for the doctors. Number two, for the patient and the families. Please understand, I have said in the beginning also, that if the family is troubled, you know, if the mother is crying all the time that what will happen to my daughter, what will be or her future, then it is bound to affect the child's mind. It is very important when treating a child with vitiligo. And, you know, I do not ask parents to bring their child to my clinic every time. Why? You know, the most traumatic experience right in the early life is going to a doctor, getting a prick. You know, even a small infant, when he enters for the second time in a doctor's chamber, starts howling. Why?
हाँ, उसको पता होता है क्या होने वाला है.
क्यों? क्योंकि उसके मन में डर है. डॉक्टर के चैम्बर में जाना बचपन से एक डर वाली बात है ना. So if a 4-year-old child or 7-year-old child is brought to the clinic every month, where he sees not only himself, he sees his mother crying, grandmother crying, grandfather crying, he sees other sufferers of other diseases. I mean, a doctor visit to a doctor's chamber for a child can never be pleasant. Of course, for adults also. Right? So why give that trauma every month or 2 months or 3 months, whatever time the doctor calls you? This is number one thing I tell, because this is a visual thing. I tell them, click a photograph of the patch today, then after a month, then after a month, then after a month, then keep showing me serial photographs. What is there? Why bring the child? Why discuss the disease in presence of the child? These things are important in treating the child. For the family also, for the doctor also. Family should never ever discuss इसका क्या होगा, इसकी शादी कैसे होगी, इसका पैच बढ़ता जा रहा है, किसी और डॉक्टर को दिखा लेते हैं. वो भी आपने दिखाना है तो आपस में बात करिए. आप बच्चे के सामने क्यों अपनी परेशानी कर रहे हैं? Even if, you sometimes feel that Dr. Bharti is no good, yeah, he's not able to treat me. I need to change the doctor. Okay, fine. But don't discuss all those things in front of the child. So,
Exactly.
because it is more of a mental game, I should say. And
True.
I feel whenever a child comes to me, first visit, I tell them, I show them the flowers, I tell them the colors, and give some candies or something, and tell them, please, beta, don't come here again. And tell their parents that please don't bring the child.
True.
That's
This is,
important.
yes. Please go on, Uncle. Please go on.
Soothing the nerves of the family and the patient is the most important message for families, for the doctors, for the general practitioners. I mean, they should understand this, that vitiligo is not a disease. It doesn't kill. It doesn't shorten you in any way. It doesn't give any other handicap. Your mental strength remains the same. Then what is wrong? And you can be a model. You can be a
Exactly. You can be anything you want to be.
You can be anything you feel like.
True. That's very true.
One of the professors of dermatology in Lady Hardinge Medical College, unfortunately he's no more now, he had vitiligo all over and he had written a book on vitiligo. So I one day asked him, मैं कहा सर आपको पेशेंट नहीं बोलता कि आपके तो खुद के विटिलाइगो है, तो आप कैसे ठीक करोगे? He said, ऐसे मेरा नहीं किसी ने इलाज किया लेकिन मैं आपका कर सकता हूँ.
Wow.
What is there? So, I mean, this is what it is. दिमाग में नहीं बीमारी आनी चाहिए, शरीर की कोई बात नहीं.
True. हाँ, जब वो यहाँ जाती है, that is when the problem begins.
Basically, you must have heard a number of stories. A patient of cancer, till he's told he's okay, the day he's told, he goes downhill.
True.
So the mind is a very strong organ. We have to take care of that in the diseases like vitiligo.
On the other side, there are also people who are told that they have a few days or months to live and they make the most of it. They write a book or they fulfill their goals. उनकी bucket list में जो कुछ होता है वो सब पूरा करते हैं. So yes, so it's all here. It's all here. Here's one of the last shout outs to everyone who's listening. If you have questions, please feel free to ask them in the chat. If your questions demand privacy, send them to Dr. Bharti. I'm also giving you an opportunity in case you have something to share, an inspiring story or something that affected you or your family member and you feel like sharing it for inspiring it to others. Do send me a request for joining the video and I would let you do that. You can join the video and share your experience and be a part of the live session today because we're going to end it in a few minutes. So if you have a feeling that you want to share something, please do that.
Some comments here. Somebody has written that my cousin has vitiligo and she had a very difficult journey accepting it. Yes, acceptance. She said people would stay, make her feel horrible, etc., etc. My advice is show her this video, save it, or bring.
Yes.
Let me talk to her. Let's see. Of course, the journey is difficult, but journey.
This video, yes, it's going to be there in the IGTV. So it's a resource that anybody can refer to even later. I can also read.
With us.
Yes.
Either you or me, we can always reply.
Yes, if you send me a DM, I'm going to pass that on to Dr. Rakesh Bharti and you'll get help. I'm again asking you if there's anybody who's interested in joining the live, sharing their experiences, please go ahead. There are some beautiful comments here, Uncle. This growth from inside out, that's a beautiful Instagram page. She's writing 100% mental health is affected with this very visual change in the skin. That's true and it's understandable.
But that is reversible. We reverse it. It is treatable. That is what I think I didn't discuss about the treatment part of it. We can jolly well treat majority of the patients. There are hardly few patients whom we cannot do much, but majority of the patients we treat either by medicines, by lights or by surgery, whatever. But we do treat them. Rest assured, it is a treatable thing.
So there's hope and light at the end of this dark tunnel. You shouldn't think that there's no hope. sometimes even the closest family members or
one more thing,
friends.
Chetna, I want to say. Many people
Yes.
think that when we talk about surgery, it is something like a plastic surgery which will be very costly and all. No, no. Believe you me, go to the government. One of the best surgeons, vitiligo surgeons in northern India, is in Government Medical College, Amritsar. In government college, you hardly pay anything. So don't be scared if somebody suggests you a surgery. Don't be scared. It won't be a costly affair also, and it won't be a long procedure. You won't be bedridden. This is simple thing.
We might have a very good friend of mine joining our live. She sent a request. I have invited her to join the live. Let's hope she joins and shares her experience.
Sure.
But I was asking you this thing, Uncle, that many a times the closest family members and friends, they also sometimes say very bitter things to people who are suffering from vitiligo, and that can end up affecting their self-esteem, lead them to social isolation. So interpersonal skills of a physician, are you taught in medicine the interpersonal skill, or I think that is something that you develop over the time?
Over the time you learn these things, and I was laying stress again and again that don't treat only the patient, treat the family. Because yes, you're right. आपको चलते फिरते वो कहेंगे कहाँ से कल मुही पैदा हो गई, ये क्या हो गया, अब इसका क्या बनेगा. So those things pinch you there. You don't think that a child doesn't understand. Even if a small child will understand that I am looked after a different way than my other sibling. So don't let the difference come. That is for the family.
That's beautiful. So, I have been inviting her, but I guess there's some issue. She's unable to join.
Okay.
You, Uncle, you were saying something. Please go on.
Well, I was saying same that the family should understand. You know, I tell you a personal instance. You know, once something bad happened in my family, and we were going to get the final result. On the way, one of my friends who was accompanying me, he is an eye specialist again, like your father, he tells me that howsoever much you want to cry, cry now in this car, but not in front of the family. Now, this is something important family should understand. That आपका छोटा सा gesture भी, forget about speaking, even a gesture can hurt the child to a level that the heart can go, hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? So, hi, how are you? Hi, Doctor.
Hi.
Nice to see you. I love this topic. My name's Natasha, by the way. It's not in my thing, but I really wanted to join this because I do have a cousin who's got vitiligo. We're all based in the UK, so it's about 2:30 in the afternoon at the moment.
Oh my God, thank you very much for joining.
Yeah.
Thanks, Natasha.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
For joining.
You're very welcome. I know that there's some great work going on by both of you as well. I'm obviously following your account with all your harvesting and wonderful things that you do. So thank you for all the great things that you share.
And it's mutual, Natasha. I like your work too. So just keep going.
I really appreciate the support. I'm really big on mental health. It stemmed from when my mom died. She died when I was 19. So it's been 16 years now. And I struggled with that. But my cousin, when she started getting the signs of vitiligo on her hand, she didn't know what it was. And then because it started to spread, and now it's been a few years and it's very, very obvious. I think she really struggled to accept it, and she's saying that I feel like every few months I have to re-accept it all over again because it spreads, and the way she dresses has changed, her makeup keeps changing, and I think she was okay. She was quite secure in herself, but it's people staring at her, and when she goes on holiday, people calling her names. She doesn't want to go in the beach. Her skin become more sensitive, and all those things. And I suggested to her, and she did do this, I said, write your story and share it. because you're not alone, you know, you are not alone in this. If you share it, and that's what she did on my website. She wrote all, you know, this is my story, and I'm still growing, and I'm still changing. And I tell every time you get a bigger patch and you learn to accept it, you are becoming stronger, and you are an inspiration to other people. If you can be confident, then somebody without vitiligo has no excuse, right? We have to really accept what we've got and be grateful. You know, there are beautiful people in great shape, and they've got a roof over their head, healthy children, they've got everything that they would need, and they're not grateful. So sometimes the universe sends us something to teach us to be grateful again for what life is really about. So I'm just really happy that you did this call. I've been watching it whilst I'm working. I hope my boss doesn't come on and see me.
That's lovely. You know, I quoted one instance that somebody got a tattoo here. It's vitiligo. You know, somebody asked you, can you show that vitiligo? That mental strength is required. Now, that comes, of course, with a lot of difficulty and with a lot of hand-holding by the family and the physician.
Yeah.
Both play a very important part. To me, probably the family plays a more important part than even the physician, because physician you meet once in a week.
Once in a week, yeah.
Yeah, but family is all the time around you. So they should be really, you know, I have yet to see if somebody gets lame by whatever, meets with an accident, that family doesn't support. Family do support. Families do support. And that is the strength of the Indian community, that we believe in families. Right?
Yeah.
So I think the family should, and she should become strong. I narrated another instance where the boy wanted to commit suicide just because a girl rejected.
Yeah.
Right? But then I said, okay, don't worry, you come to me. He flew all the way from Bangalore to Amritsar and came to me, sat with me, and I discussed with him. Now he's happily married and has a girl child.
Well, that's
what I'm
good.
trying to say is that your cousin needs a good counseling. Now, it can be a counselor, it can be a psychiatrist, or a very good dermatologist who knows his job.
Yeah. Yeah.
And once she develops that attitude, damn care, then everything is done. Because nobody, you know, people may tell you that you have this, that, but nobody is going to help you.
No.
What is the point? Why are you bothered?
Yeah. And I think that the thing is that when people are staring at you, it's really understanding about why are you feeling, you know, self-conscious about this. If you can accept your vitiligo and you look in the mirror every day and you learn to love yourself, the insecurity is not coming because of the vitiligo. It's because you don't feel part of something. Make yourself part of a vitiligo community. There are so many people out there that will talk about the story. Don't isolate yourself and say, I'm different, I'm not normal, I'm different. Different is what everyone is looking for. Everybody is looking for.
You unique, that's beautiful. Ventilation is very important. You know, she must vent out. If she
tell her story. You never know who you can inspire. And you know, the thing is that even with these stories, like for me, I share about mental health and when I lost my mom and when I went through bullying, and you know, everybody goes through those things on some level. And maybe she's grieving herself, you know, what she knew of herself before the vitiligo. But you can still grow and become better through your life, you know. Now she has something to write about. She has a story to tell, you know. Although, you know, it gave her life some level of meaning that she didn't have before, maybe. You know, if you look for these positive things, you find them. I think that we're so prone to looking for the negative things in life. If you don't practice gratitude every day, if you're not thankful every day, if you're not taking time to look after your body, eat well, and look after those relationships in your life, I think even somebody with no health issues will be depressed.
You saw,
you know?
do you see Bollywood movies?
A little bit.
There is a movie called Shoutouts, and in which, you know, the crux is that you should find a meaning in your life.
Yeah.
Once you
the
find
purpose, your reasons.
Yes, there should be a reason. So, and then you can forget your vitiligo.
Yeah, you know, you focus on something that is positively going to grow you. Why do you want to sit there and focus on this negative stuff, you know?
Yeah, or follow Natasha or even Dr. Bharti for that matter. I guess, yes, that's what goals do to us.
Yeah.
It's so important to have goals, and goals that can help us grow. And Natasha,
Mm,
I have to tell you that my heart and admiration go to your cousin for coming
mm,
out with her story, and for writing about it, because there's so many people out there who need this help. Because I
yeah.
was wondering if, I was even asked that I am a gardening page, and why am I doing this? I'm doing this because that's the beauty of being your own boss.
Yeah.
I think this matters, and I have to do this
Yeah.
because, you're just not a motivational coach. You're also a
No.
mama. You could also be
Yeah.
working.
Yeah. Oh, I
So,
am right now.
yeah, so there's so many
Yeah.
dimensions that all of us need
What
to
do you do, Natasha, by the
embrace.
way?
Sorry.
What do you do?
I work for a Microsoft partner as operations and finance manager at the
Oh,
moment.
okay.
But there's so many, yeah. But I've got a great team. Half of them are based in India, half of them are based in the UK. So yeah, it's a great company. I'm working with HCL. So they've been doing really good things around COVID and supporting their staff. So it's been quite a crazy journey in the last year. Mental health is right at the top now, and people are
It
accepting
is.
more.
It is.
Emotional pain is, I think do you know Robin Sharma by any
Yes,
chance? He's
yes.
an
Yes, we do.
absolute genius. I love him. I'm on his course right now. I'm following his 5 a.m. club at the moment. So I'm doing practice between 5 and 6 in the morning of some fitness, some, personal development, and some meditation every single day. You feel so much closer to yourself that I stopped caring about what's on the outside. And actually, the outside became better, but because you can't fill your holes inside by anything external. You have to do the work on the inside first, and that's where you start radiating all the goodness out there. Other people will feel that, the positive energy all comes from inside. So whatever's on the surface, people stop seeing that when they learn who you are. So if you focus on having your strong character, be an inspiration for your children, for our children,
Absolutely wonderful. Nice,
Yeah.
nice talking to you, Natasha.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Natasha, for joining in. And
Thank
thank
you.
you for your beautiful views. And all the best with your page, life.
Thank
Everything.
you.
So we take leave, Chetna? Or do we have some
Yeah,
questions?
we might, I'll be happy to have anybody else who wants to join the live and share their experiences, because we're going to end this. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to share them in the chat. And if your questions demand privacy, please send them to me or to Dr. Bharti, and just directly message those questions and you will get assistance. Did we have any questions in the meantime? No, I think we had comments, and it was nice that we had Natasha joining us.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Bharti,
Thank
for this
you.
very important conversation.
I hope.
Thank you, everyone, for listening
helps
to
someone.
us. Yes. Okay, there is somebody who wants to be in the live. Let's give them a chance, Uncle.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. There is Mohit Sehdev,
Okay.
and who wants to be in the live, and I have sent him a request. Let's see if he's able to join. There's Gurleen writing, good advice, sir. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Gurleen.
Mohit, if you can hear us, please join our live and share your experience. We might give him a minute to do that. Sometimes it does take a little while.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Uncle, if you could share another inspiring story, just jahan pe ki you were able to cure or treat, and the person was able to fulfill their goals.
I was living in a house in Basant Avenue, and I won't tell where. The landlord's son had it, and he was so religiously following me in getting treatment, and he had a lot of vitiligo. He got cured. He's now
Wow.
married, has married his daughter, has a son. What else you are looking for? I have
So,
many such patients who are real life success stories for me, because seeing a smile now on their faces, his all hair were white, his face had lot of patches, everything vanished. And at that time, we did not do much, because advancement, that was, I'm talking about maybe 30, 35 years ago.
and you were
Uh,
still able to do.
we had no lights. We were dependent on sunlight only. And he used to take a tablet. 2 hours later, will expose himself to sun and will keep standing there, apply the ointment after that. And he religiously, small, I still remember a 8-year-old child doing all that. And today his father. And so such patients are actual rewards. I'm reminded of many such patients, but this came instantly to my mind.
I can imagine that, and I'm sure it is very rewarding as a doctor as well
And I
when you
tell
come
you, in our
across.
city, I know many families where many members have it, but doesn't know each other. That the cousins' offspring is having it or not having it, and they say, हमारी फैमिली में तो किसी को नहीं है. मैं भी कहता हूँ नहीं है. वो मुझे क्या है ना? So, is
हाँ,
Mohit
तो
joining?
see, the social stigma, I think, with it is understandable, and then the tendency to put things under the carpet, like how Natasha said, it's important to come out and accept
Yes.
it.
It helps you if you come out. You say,
Exactly.
hey, so what? One of my friends, he told me once, he's an ENT specialist in Jalandhar. He once told me he met a schoolmate who could not rise that much in life as this guy. So he met him and he says, yaar, tu bahut bada aadmi ban gaya hai. Now, sometimes when an old friend says that, you feel bad. But kya jawab do? Then he said, हाँ यार बन गया हूँ. तो उसके आगे कोई जवाब नहीं था. See, आप इतनी अपने में मॉरल स्ट्रेंथ पैदा करिए कि अगले को लाजवाब कर दीजिए. वो जो सवाल आपसे पूछ रहा है, whosoever is questioning you, your disease, your appearance, give him a befitting answer. Be strong. And say, what is there? You have not done a crime. To contract a disease is not a crime. Mahatma Gandhi rightly said, hate the disease, not the sufferer.
True.
And if you want to hate the disease, just hate it and get it treated.
I think Mohit is not able to join us.
Fine.
So if you want to consult Dr. Bharti, kindly follow his page on Instagram, send him a DM, and you can get more assistance. And if you like gardening and nature stories and other inspiring stuff on your feed, don't forget to follow Get My Harvest. I guess we'll have to end it here, Uncle. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Jana, for doing this. I hope it helps some people.
Yes, the video is going to be there in our respective IGTVs. So if you still know somebody who needs to watch this, please send the link to them. And this is always going to be there, a resource that can help common people to understand what is vitiligo. I'm not this hair. These are lines from Rumi that I'm going to share. I'm not this hair. I'm not this skin. I am the soul that lives within. So people with vitiligo are strong. Stay strong. And as Bharti Uncle said, don't give a damn what others say. Have a blessed evening, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Nice.